should be addressed in our schools.
Well, you remember the previous president to Biden had this, he had his hats made that was called Make America Great Again, right?
Yeah.
And so just to show you how original the Republicans are, that he actually got that from Ronald Reagan. You know, Ronald Reagan, that was Ronald Reagan's thing in the 1980s. Make America Great Again. That was his slogan. So why am I saying that? I'm saying it because the Republicans don't have, they're behind schedule on this one, right? And they're trying to figure out a way to gin up some old debates about American culture and to have a false debate about the loss of America's soul and who America really is at its heart. And so CRT is the big boogeyman now that is wresting Americans away or trying to wrest away from an idyllic notion of America. And again, they're 40 years late because CRT has been in the academy, at least in law schools, in law classrooms for 40 years. Most people are just now hearing this, but it's a 4 decades old creation by Kimberly Crenshaw, Derek Bell, Richard Delgado, and many others. And so, in fact, in the 1990s, you know, critical race theory was getting some traction in some law review articles and things of that nature. But the point of CRT is to really show us the ways in which a logic of race gets embedded and encoded by legal and political structures. So it's a theory that helps us to understand how power actually manifests. And this is what scares everyone to the extent that they know about it. But the problem is that they are putting in things that don't belong in CRT in CRT. First off, what's lost is that it's a legal theory, right? It's put up by people. One could say they're politically aligned to the left because they're progressive. They want a broad-based, citizenship and everybody have equal access to, defense under the Constitution, protection of their rights under the Constitution. They want that equally distributed, so one could say that that's a progressive idea, but one could say that that's also a liberal idea, right? And one could say that part of conservatism has some liberalism built into it. Okay, fine. But they're asking CRT to do a whole lot of work right now. And really, I don't think we should even take it serious, these news debates, because these people who are out here are really just trying to distract us from actual progress and actual material concerns that have been levied by people who are ostracized and marginalized for many, many, many years. So this is just one extra thing that they're trying to cling to get us to go chase it. And then we'll all see that there was nothing there to begin with. The people who are using this stuff on right-wing websites, they have no idea what it's about. They haven't read Kimberly Crenshaw. They refuse to listen to Kimberly Crenshaw. And so for me, I don't really take them serious. What I do take serious is the way in which it comes into debates in schools, in school districts, and amongst school boards, because those places are mirrors of our legislative apparatus. And so the way that they govern is much along party line. So the point is that all we need to do is go back a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years, to look at the kind of major debates that was held about the teaching of ethnic studies in places like Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona, where they were gaining traction and teaching in public schools a curriculum that included a robust ethnic studies curriculum as a elective. It was as an elective. It wasn't even supplementing or replacing what they were teaching in the history curriculum or the literature curriculum that focused on traditional American subjects, et cetera. But ethnic studies, because they were trying to get the local community's history written in the curriculum in a school district that were 80 to 90% Latino or Latinx. So they want their histories inside of the curriculum. And you know what these legislators did? They basically said, if you teach this, I'm collapsing a lot of history here, but if you teach this, then we will begin to take money from your schools. So immediately the teachers and the principals who had been open to the idea of a newer curriculum that was more reflective of the student body and their histories and their ancestors' histories, they start to say, we can't do that because then we're going to lose money in our school. So that was it. So if you want an example of how this thing plays out and how it's playing out, I was just watching on the news just this week. Or last week, there was a huge fight in a school district in Virginia at a school board meeting, and it was all white folks there. It wasn't even like a quarter of black parents, that was saying we want, Martin Luther King on the cover of everybody's, notebook. No, it was white parents there saying, don't dare teach this. And so anybody who had kind of like a liberal mindset that was saying, hey, well, let's figure out what this actually is and how it could be useful, those people were ostracized. It was to the point where people started to fight and had to be taken out in handcuffs in one clip on the news that I saw in Virginia. So this is how, that's what I said. It's a battle over how we understand the country. And the fact is, we prefer, not we, but there's a majority of people who prefer a mythical understanding of American history, and they've tied their personal identity to that. So then when we say we want rights, then they say you're using your identity to, infect the curriculum, when we don't have identities in the curriculum. We just have one identity, is American identity, but it has to be a white-centric one, Right. So the point is that's why this is just a red herring. I don't think we need to spend much time, but there's a dangerous aspect to the kind of vehement attitude that they have towards CRT, even though they don't understand it. But the reason why CRT is important is because it helps us to understand the way in which power is codified in law. And that is crucial to understanding inequities that we say we're trying to address.
Absolutely. And it's so true